Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Today I wanted to talk to you about a few different things through the lens of, as a disabled veteran, we often look at, are there any new VA veteran benefits or even state benefits coming down? Looking for new benefits, going through the legal process, the legislative process can be laborsome. In addition, there's always streamlined ways, new presumptives, other things that are also a benefit to us. And when those things happen, sometimes they happen a little bit quicker. Now, what I saw today was a headline that I wanted to share with you, and I'm going to dive into the story here. VA studying whether 3 types of cancer are linked to overseas military service. So this could be the beginning of the establishment of additional presumptive conditions. I am a huge fan of presumptive conditions because presumptive conditions negate the need for a nexus. You do not need to prove the nexus. All you need to prove is that you served wherever they say you needed to serve during whatever time period and have that specific condition. If you meet those, then you're granted. They presume that your condition is caused from your military service. So let's dive into this and see what they're talking about. This just came out July 25th on military.com is where I'm reading it. And again, July 25th, 2023. The Department of Veterans Affairs has launched a study to determine whether 3 types of cancer are linked to environmental exposure for U.S. troops who served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and elsewhere. The VA announced Tuesday, the 25th, that it will explore a possible link between acute leukemia, chronic leukemia, and multiple myeloma, and service in Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia, Djibouti, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Yemen, and others. Southwest Asia operational theater. So it's kind of all over that area. Now, in addition to that, please hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. The PACT Act, which went into effect late August, designated 23 conditions as presumed to be related to veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxic pollutants while deployed to the Middle East and elsewhere. These included cancers of the head and neck. New research will focus solely on these other types of cancer that originated elsewhere in the body. So this is a great step because it's going to open up more presumptives if the studies show there's a link, right? And usually what they're going to see is they're going to see the veteran population has a higher likelihood of these cancers than the non-veteran group. So we'll see what happens. Moving on, while the 3 conditions are not yet listed as presumptive conditions, meaning that afflicted veterans would be eligible for expedited claims processing without having to prove their illness is linked to military service, which again is you don't need a nexus, the VA encourages diagnosed veterans to file a claim and not wait for the outcome of the research. Okay, good point. If you have one of those types of cancers, then file your claim anyway. I would go a step further and not just file the claim with that condition. You're going to need to prove a nexus, right? You can work with your doctor and let them know that the VA is actually working on a study as well regarding it and all the different pollutants and different things out there to get your doctor to write you a letter, a nexus letter, that at least states that that condition, your cancer, is at least likely as not to have manifested due to your time overseas. And then that will should be enough to get you a service connection if you can do that. Moving on, here it states veterans shouldn't wait for this review process to conclude to apply for the support they deserve, said the VA secretary in a statement. If you are a veteran living with any of these cancers, don't wait. Apply for your VA care and benefits today. Multiple myeloma, a type of blood plasma cancer, has been listed as a presumptive condition for veterans exposed to Agent Orange during the Vietnam War era and for former service members assigned to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, from August 53 to December 87. Adult leukemias also are on the presumptive conditions list for Camp Lejeune veterans. Prior to the passage of the PACT Act, the VA contracted out its studies for determining whether a health condition possibly was related to military service. The legislation cemented a new process that allows the VA to examine the available data and research as well as VA claims data to establish new presumptive conditions. That is huge. According to the VA, the 3 conditions were chosen for review based on input from veterans, veteran service organizations, members of Congress, and healthcare experts, as well as available scientific data. They are the first conditions to be announced for such a review since the passage of the PACT Act. Again, in the PACT Act, they changed it from the VA having to outsource its studies to being able to internally do the study and develop a presumptive list. So that's huge. VA officials said more than 700,000 veterans have applied for benefits under this legislation, which greatly expanded health care and disability benefits for post-9/11 veterans exposed to burn pits, Persian Gulf War veterans who encountered environmental pollutants, and veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Since the law was signed on August 10th, the VA has distributed more than $1.6 billion in disability compensation and benefits to qualified veterans or their spouses. The VA has been urging veterans and survivors to file disability claims under PACT Act before August 9th to ensure that if they are awarded the disability benefits, that they will receive compensation backdated to August 10th, 2022. If you've watched enough of my videos, you know that I've talked about it more than once. Veterans also may file an intent to file. This is the silver bullet, okay? Veterans may also file an intent to file paperwork before August 9th to establish a claim date, and if their claim is submitted within 1 year, they will receive backdated benefits. This is huge. They may still apply for disability compensation at any time after August 10th if they develop a condition they believe is service-related under the PACT Act. Any awarded benefits would be backdated to the date the claim was filed or, and I'm going to add this in there, or your future intent to file date, right? So whatever that effective date would be, they're just not going to backdate you if you do it. They're not going to backdate you to the August 9th, 2022 unless you file it here within the next 15 days. Veterans who do not have a presumptive illness but have a health condition they believe is connected to their military service may apply for disability compensation and benefits, but they are required to furnish proof of service connection. The VA decides those claims on a case-by-case basis. The VA has held numerous events at facilities nationwide to highlight the PACT Act beginning last March and going through the first week of August. The Deputy Undersecretary for Benefits said the gatherings include roughly 130 summer vet fests, have reached 1 million veterans, caregivers, and families. We're not just focusing on benefits, we're focusing on access to health care, making sure that those PACT Act veterans also know what services are available to them from the National Cemetery Administration, not just in the time of need, but in advance, so they can make plans and long-term decisions about their final resting place. The Deputy Undersecretary for Benefits said during a press call with reporters on Monday. Regarding the new study on presumptive conditions, the VA is soliciting public comment over the proposal via the Federal Register. Officials encouraged interested parties to weigh in. We won't rest until we understand whether there's a connection between these deadly conditions and the service of our nation's heroes, the VA Secretary said in a statement. And with that, that will conclude it. I will try to remember to put a link in the comments for the Federal Register, which is where you can put in your comment. So remember, the VA is soliciting public comment over the proposal via the Federal Register. So I encourage you to do that. With that, we'll go ahead and conclude it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.